Hi, it's Becky from PowerToolsWithThread.com. That's my blog. So about a year ago this month, I was in full sewing room makeover mode. And it has taken a little bit of time. Like I said in my last video, it kind of takes about a year for you to figure out where things really need to go. And, you know, it took me probably 4 months to figure out what was in my drawers. It is the 2020 sewing room tour. There is not much in here that's not sewing related, but if it's here and not sewing related, it's important to me in some way or another. This room started out as a very small concrete back patio to our house when we moved in 2006. And in 2008, we extended the roof of the house to create a giant screened-in back patio. And the room probably measures, I think it's 15 by 20 is what it is. So, and it's a concrete floor. I live in South Texas, and so we don't do basements here. Most people don't have a basement, not in my neck of the woods anyway. When my husband retired from the military, he retired out of Hawaii. Well, in Hawaii, all their back patios, they have these big screened-in back porches, and they call them lanais. So he wanted to build a lanai out here on our house. Well, we built the lanai. I had it all furnished and everything. And you'll see parrots hanging from the ceiling. Those are oddities, you know, and geckos hanging around. Those are things that we picked up when we used to be able to go over the border to Mexico and go shopping and whatnot. And we just really enjoy the whole, you know, flamingo in paradise kind of thing going on. I don't have any flamingos, but so you'll see those hanging around. Those just bring back good memories of good times that we had. So after we built the lanai, we never stayed out here, ever. I mean, it was a beautiful place, but we were never in this room. We always went on the extended patio that we built outside. It was a couple years ago, I told my husband, I think it was 2016 or 2015, I can't remember, 2016 I think, I said, hey, I've outgrown my sewing room, which was an extra bedroom in our house. Let's enclose the back patio and put in windows. And there's a window unit air conditioner out here, and I have a little, it looks like a little fireplace chimney heater. It's an electric heater. So because we were unable to run air conditioning and heating into this room. That's why all of the windows have like bamboo shades. It's all got that whole kind of Hawaiian vibe or something like that to it. So also during the day while we are at work, our dogs are out here. We have doggy doors, and so they come and go all they want. We close the door to the house, and there's a doggy door to the house, like Harley's coming out right now. We locked that inner door, which was the back door at one time, and now it's the screen, you know, storm door to the house. So we installed storm doors and doggy doors in the storm doors. So let me take you around and show you what this place looks like, okay? All right, so here is the door that leads back into the house, and there's where the dogs come and go all the time. And that's my light. I don't have it on now or you wouldn't be able to see a thing. But this is where I keep all of my AV equipment for my videos, right here in this little corner. And so we'll go up here. That always tells me the temperature it is in here, and that yellow plug is charging, or that's what powers my light. These are just some cheap plastic stacker drawers I got from Walmart, and they have a gazillion little projects and fabric in them and whatnot. That is a Bluetooth speaker that's blinking at you, and I always have country music going on in the background while I'm in here. So I have a ginormous trash can that I fill very easily every week. It's usually up to the top by the time the week is over, because this, after all, is a working sewing room. I'm very, very busy in here all the time. There's the little heater that I use, and I have the Cricut heat press. I love that little thing. That's where I keep all my little AV cases, and there's memory chips in those and all kinds of stuff here. And this table, this cutting table, my husband made for me. I had seen one in a video that was like this from Ikea, sort of. But the idea was, of course, you know, Ikea furniture. I wanted it just like it, so this is 2 sheets of plywood, so I have extra storage. There's my Designs and Machine Embroidery hoop mat. Rulers up under here. There's a rotating cutting mat. So this is where I keep all of my rulers. When I'm standing here at my cutting table, this is very handy. Down under here, there are 2 3-foot shelving units, okay? And in them they have those fabric baskets, and so like that one has backings in it. There are 3 spools of embroidery stabilizers that I use continually. And then over here on this side, there's 4 cubes in here, and they have various types of fabric in them. And then that is scraps in that basket, and that is scraps down there in that tub. This basket right here is from Ikea. I keep embroidery blanks in here, or maybe little projects that are ready to go. If I, you know, have an instant baby I need to knock something out for real quick. I've got bibs, I have onesies, I have aprons back in there. These are great, you get them from Sam's. In here I have all of my embroidery hoops and my snowmen placement stuff from Designs and Machine Embroidery. So this stuff is all here, anything I might need. Down here are all of my smaller stabilizers that I use all the time. And then down here are spools of thread that I use in a serger. So very, very handy having all that the way it is. Up here up top, this is where my new Scan and Cut DX 225 sits. These are sewing notions that I grab continually all the time. I've got a little box here that I have all of my rotary cutters and my scissors in, and these are pattern weights made out of marble that I picked up in New Orleans. More pattern weights. And then over here, this shelf, it's a crazy thing. I picked it up in South Korea in 1992, and it has been with me forever. I just can't seem to get rid of it now. I'm kind of emotionally attached to it. It's crazy. I've got shirts that are sitting up here of my husband's that are waiting on buttons. Broken buttons need to be fixed. This little drawer, you know, it doesn't match a thing, but it's very, very handy. It's got a bunch of pens in it, my 505. It has my laser light in there from Dime that I use all the time. And this is where I keep my quote labels, pre-printed quote labels. And then over here I've got all of my bobbins and some Sharpies, lots of Sharpies and whatnot. The canister of thread is just, that's when I'm lazy and I don't feel like putting my thread away. All of my thread, for the most part, I'm glad I made this video because this stuff was everywhere. I try to keep my threads covered all the time, mostly because there are dogs in here and I don't want fur all over the thread. You know, I sweep twice a week and vacuum once a week, but still, you know, you get what you get on that. These are just tote bags that I use. I'm always going somewhere, doing something, and these are projects I have in the works. So here on the floor, I saw this rug in Lori Holt's sewing room, and I thought it was absolutely adorable. I did some research online and found it in the kids section at Ikea. I have 2 clear chair mats on it, just trying to have some semblance of cleanliness when my dogs come in here. And then over here on the wall, as you can tell, it's all brick. This was an outside patio. There's my weightless quilter. That's back there in that brown box from Designs and Machine Embroidery. And there's a picture for generations. That's my dad, me, my son, and my first grandchild. So that was just before my dad passed. And up here are sewing notions that I use. When I was doing a lot of garment sewing, I was in these all the time. Not in them a lot anymore because I'm not doing a lot of garment sewing. And then in this big white cabinet right here, I have all of my patterns, sewing patterns in these tubs. I got these tubs right here at Home Depot. Those are my pool noodles, so I can do pool noodle basting on a smaller quilts if I need to. Those are just projects I've got in the works. All these project boxes, they're all things I've got in the works. So let me close this up. That's me and my husband in our early days. That's a long time ago. So, and this is where I hang my long tape measure. I use that all the time. Okay, and then up here, back here, table number 5 was our favorite group of rowdies at our wedding. And then my husband made that shadow box for me when I retired from the military. Those, again, that's stuff that's important to me. And so this door right here, this is actually a door that leads into the master bedroom. That used to be an exit, you know, out onto the old back patio when this was a back patio. And now this is my fabric stash, kind of limited as far as quilt fabrics go, but I'm a pre-cut person. You know, you see those people that have tons and tons of boards of fabric where they've bought yardage. I don't buy yardage. I prefer pre-cuts and panels, and that's my idea of a good time because I'm not real good at matching patterns. So I like things that are already matched for me. In there, that is one hot mess. I'm not going to show it to you, but suffice it to say it is packed to the gills with fabric. And I have my little things here labeled. I've got long arm tools, mini iron bobbin winder, and I've got dusters and other stuff up in there. And then on top, those are table runner of the month kits that I have gotten over time. There is a Kimberbell pillow I made in a class. That's the last thing my dad ever gave me there, that little tiger that says I love you. And then that little American Girl doll, she was given to me by a friend of mine. So I've just got all my fabric and stuff here. This particular group of shelves that you're looking at right here, this is not IKEA furniture. This is that white cubicle stuff. That table, I think I got it from Joann's or Hancock Fabrics years ago. But now, here is where we get to the IKEA furniture. The wider shelves that has all of the jelly rolls on it, that is called the Billy bookcase from IKEA. And the skinny one that holds all the little, that has all the little shelves there in the middle, I think it's pronounced Nedby. It's Gnedby shelf. This is a sign I got. This was before I was calling myself Power Tools with Thread, but never underestimate the power of a woman with a sewing machine. And then this little bear here, the Crown Royal bear, this belonged to a friend of mine who just passed away. And so he means a lot to me, and I really, really like him watching over me while I'm in here. So, and a lot of you comment about the Kahlua Lampshade being kind of wonky. This thing is old, you guys. My friend Karen Coffey made that for me when I was on my way to Korea. And she and I killed off that bottle of Kahlua ourselves, make White Russians. So anyway, she made a lamp for me, and I brought it home, and I have had it with me ever since. So, and there, you know, there's a project here or there, like there's the armadillo that I picked up this summer. I got a fetish for armadillos. It's kind of weird. But my son made me that little shrinky dink when he was 9. So there's my Missouri Star Quack, and I try to keep, if I buy a layer cake and coordinating fabrics, I try to keep them all together so that I know what goes with what when it gets time to put things together. And then I have fat quarter bundles that, you know, I can raid when I need something to raid something I might need. So this is the ironing station my husband made for me. Well, he covered it for me. This is a hemness dresser from IKEA. And on it is a Woolly Betty. This is the Steady Betty on one side for pressing. Love this thing, and the Woolly Betty. So I like that I can have both in one board. That's very handy. And my Sapporo gravity-fed iron, that has been with me for years. I really, really like it. I only use distilled water in it. And then in my dresser are sewing tools, ironing tools. So my husband made me this tailor's tool right here that has a clapper on the bottom. There's just all kinds of stuff in here. Here's a ham, a silk organza pressing cloth. I have another press cloth for pressing embroidery. And then anything I might need while I'm right here, this is where I keep it all. So Not neat and nice and neat, but that's the way it is. So, and then the second drawer is where I keep all of my fusibles. So anything that I might need that can stick with an iron, this is where I keep it. So I've got a drawer just for that. And then the drawer down below is for stuff that I keep my project boards in here. I have bolts. There's a pattern paper. This is a Fons and Porter quilt wall. I just have all kinds of things in here. Mary Ellen's Best Press. Just oddball stuff that, you know, I need. I never know when I'm going to need, but when I need it, I have it. Okay. And then there is the other door that leads outside. We just had a backyard kind of a wall put in, so that's why there's a big sandy mess there. I live in the sand, I'll tell you. These are the Alex drawers from Ikea, and I have labeled each one of them. This one has all of the machine feet and whatnot in here. These are pre-wound bobbins, my glasses, USB sticks, the needles that I use, Kimberbell tape. In here, I keep all of my buttons and whatnot, just tons of buttons. And here are all the manuals for my machines that I have. Oh, these things are hard to come by. If anybody needs this, email me at powertoolswiththread.com and I will mail it to you. I can't use it. And then in here is the tablet for my Quattro, and Taylor's chalk and sticky Velcro, and my staple gun. Okay? All right. So here is the Brother Luminaire that I am borrowing from allbrands.com to do projects on for you guys. And I'm so excited every time I hear that one of you bought one of these and you just love it from watching me do my videos. There's my blue bonnet panel that I did last year. So this is sewing machine row, and I was actually going to hold off doing this video because I'm quite busy back here, but if I hold off, I'll never get it done. So the Quattro moved down here. There's my PQ 1500, my Brother PQ 1500. I am working on the bluebonnet quilt, so I'm putting together those churn dash blocks. I had to move my sewing rulers back here because, or my quilting rulers, I'm sorry, back here because I sold my sit-down machine. That's gone now. So this is the ruler rack that my husband made for me that holds all my rulers, and it's got big slots in the back to hold tall square rulers and that type of thing. And then that ruler rack right there holds the wider rulers you would use for quilting. And there's another project, okay? And I love the little dog tail. That's from Ikea with the basket, and that holds more serger thread that I would use either in a serger or in my cover stitch. My Brother PC 420 is under cover here. Here's my Brother 1034D lock, and more ruler work rulers and notions that I would need for that. And there is my cover stitch. That is the Janome 900 cover stitch machine. Under here in this back corner, I have another set of Alex drawers. I keep steam a seam and bodkins and whatnot in here, patches, you know, just odd little sewing notions and whatnot. I keep that in there. I have needles, bobbins, and screwdrivers. So lots of, you know, little things that you never know what you're going to need. That little dip can there, that is where I keep used rotary blades, so, and pins and needles and things. I gotta make that my husband's bad habit good for something. Here's where I keep all of my clips and basting pins and unique scissors and all kinds of stuff like that. I have all these drawers lined, and I have little baskets and clear tubs and things in here. Fabric glue and bag hardware. Here's where I keep all of these things. This bag has snaps. These are, you know, you can, all these little snap things. And they go to, back under here, there's one of those big cam snap deals. I know that there's a word for it. I don't know what it is. So I keep all these, there's sharpeners and, you know, every little, I don't know where this stuff, I think it multiplies when I'm not looking. And then I have sanding blocks and grommets and all kinds of oddity things down in here that I don't use too often. So that's what's in there. And then here is a cordless Panasonic iron, and I use this when I am steaming out wrinkles that might be on a quilt, when I have a quilt on the long arm. I have a steamer, which whenever I do alterations on like wedding dresses, I'll use that. And then over here is another, the Ned B bookcase and the Billy bookcase right next to each other. So I have those there to hold. These are all my quilting books right here. These are my CDs and DVDs that I have embroidery files on and all kinds of things. And then down here are all of my paper patterns that I have for projects that I'll do. And then there is an extra iron if the one I'm using dies. And then down here I have like thread charts and fabric swatch pieces and things like that. And then up here I have, those are for a Kimberbell Christmas ornament thing I need to put together. These are all my Kimberbell CDs. So I try to keep all that together as best I can. And then up here, that big scrapbook holds all of my Via Rosa Designs patterns. Come around here. There's the other door. If you recall, the sit down was right here, and now my quilt rack has a home. So, and then the big dog over here, here is my long arm. Okay, this is the Grace Phoenix frame, and I have the King Quilter Special Edition from Sewing Machines Plus, and that is the Quilt Butler right there from Quilt Easy, and I use it all the time. Matter of fact, the quilt that I put together last August when I was doing a conference, I was coming home and sewing squares together. This is the Phoebe pattern from Via Rosa Designs, and I put it on the long arm today and just finished it. And then under the long arm, let me see if I can do this maybe this way. There's a big roll of Hobbs 80/20. I really like that. And under here there are pantograph patterns I'll never use, and clamps for floating, and a 0 center tape measure that I use, and some scraps. That's my toolbox down there. Can't be without that. And down here, this is where I keep my mirrors so I can see underneath my long arm. And then I can also use them if I need to look at how something fits. And then down here, sitting on a nice scrap of material, are the extra parts and pieces to the Luminaire. I didn't undo any of them if I didn't need to, because I'm going to have to give that back. And that's my box of Christmas fabric. And I've got batting scraps, juvenile right there. Those are vinyls and whatnot for the cutting machine if I ever need them. That's my Janome serger. And then in the blue tub back there, I have some pillow forms and another package of batting. One of the things that I did make sure I did in this room is at every workstation there is a trash can. So that's part of the way to keep it neat. So there's one here. These are cheap, you know. You picked them up at Walmart real cheap. So there's one there. There's one here, because I never know where I'm going to be working, and you know, depending on the flavor of the day, whether it's quilting or embroidery or sewing, I just always want to make sure, in addition to this ginormous one I have over here, that I have trash cans if I need them. Okay guys, so that's it. That's the tour of my sewing room, and I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you got some ideas of how to control the chaos in your sewing room. I don't know. I'd love to see your ideas too, or hear how you've done things. If you have any ideas of anything that could be done more efficiently here, I definitely am open to hearing that. So thank you for coming along with me. I hope you got some inspiration out of this. So go sew something. Bye.